Hello, hello, hello. Let me just set my timer. I usually do that ahead, but I forgot. All right. This is so great to be together today. I would like to talk about two places in A Course in Miracles together and weave it with non-duality as I love to do. And these are two very, very favorite places in A Course in Miracles. Very, very significant for many people. One is chapter 2, and it's called the Helpfulness Prayer. I've talked about it before, but from another point of view. And the other one is lesson 71, and it has a similar prayer of advice. And let's start with that. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? That really covers every discipline that calls forth surrender. And ultimately, it's the result of non-duality. What do I mean by that? Well, non-dual means not two. And A Course in Miracles is a progressive path leading to oneness. And in this prayer or this poem, we still have two. There's me and there's God, or the oneness. In non-duality, when there's just one, it's as though we understand fully that there are no separate people. There isn't the personal. We're still acting in that embodied way as a person, doing, thinking, communicating, embodying life. But it's not in the personal way. So more and more, I'm looking for ways for myself and to describe to you, what would it be like to live life without living from the center of a person? And it would look like this. It wouldn't look like two. It would just be like doing what the movement would have you do. And you would be going where you would know you were being led to go. And you would be talking to whomever you are being pulled to speak to, and knowing that whatever you said is exactly what was supposed to be said. So you're still active. There is still a being. I think people get very confused by not thinking of things personally. There has to be an other to be a person. There has to be another person. There has to be a separate God. There has to be a force. But let's just imagine that we are fully the representative of God, and we never had that idea that we were separate. That's how we'd be living. There would be no question of who is saying this. Is it an ego or is it God? In chapter 2, the helpfulness prayer says, I am here only to be truly helpful. Well, from the non-dual perspective and from the scripted place, that is all there is. Let's go to that place in meditation where we see ourselves speaking, we see ourselves doing, but we're not the doer. So here is where non-duality and A Course in Miracles intersect. We observe, as I spoke in the last episode, we are not the doing, we are not the speaking, we are not the feelings, we are not the thoughts. If thoughts and feelings were truth, they would be called facts. So the places we go, the things we do, the feelings we have, the thoughts we have, they're all temporal, they're all transitory, they're all temporary. But we are more than those things because we're still here when the thought and feeling is gone. So is the place, so are the words. So now there's something bigger, something constant, something that's not a form, because there aren't two forms. There's something that we are. Now, of course, would say that's Holy Spirit, and that connects us to God. It doesn't matter what we name it. The world fights over religions, over what we call our God and their God, and these little differences of naming. But there is a presence, there is a spirit, there is a something that is not our thought, it's not our feeling, it's not our doing, it's something else. And we have observed that. And when we go deeper, deeper into the observer, so if we start again, we've done this before, but we can't do this too many times. If we get close to the mind, the small mind has opinions. The small mind is thoughts and feelings. It is not truth. So when we're still having thoughts and feelings in the observer that might say, well, that was an angry thought, or that was whatever. We don't know if that was ego or a separate person speaking those thoughts. That may be exactly what's in the script. From the non-dual point of view, everything is the script because there's only the one. That's the good news. There is only the one. Once we have a doubter, once we have a critic, once we have a questioner, we have thoughts and feelings which are not truth. Truth is without opinion. It's the same for everyone. There's no better and no worse. It's the isness of our being, the I am before you were Margaret or Peter or Stephen or David or Rosalind or Lynn. I held a baby yesterday, a brand new baby. She's all being, 100% life force, 100% innocent, just like us. What makes the difference between our feeling the baby is innocent and we are not? It's only our thoughts and feelings. And if they were imagination, if they are made up stories, perhaps we don't need to believe them. So we started out in meditation where we are watching ourselves. And if we have opinions on what we said and what we did, we can actually not touch them. If we knew that they were not truth, so an angry thought is just an energy that passed through. We do not even need to engage in forgiveness. I know this is heretical, but I'm taking us out of the separate person. Separate person needs to do forgiveness. If you step in a little further where a course wants you to go, where a course takes you in the end. Lesson 198, come with holy, empty arms. Throw away all the concepts. And then follow these words. I'm here only to be truly helpful. Well, we don't have to worry about being helpful because we don't have to second guess the script. We're going to do it anyway. Definitely, I am here to represent him who sent me. 100%. Certainly, I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because I am the oneness. And I, of course, go where I'm directed and sent. Now, I love this line. I am content to be wherever I am sent, wherever the oneness wishes. And I have a knowing that I am representing the oneness because I cannot be separate. I am healed of the idea of separation. I am healed of the idea that I could do or say anything that was not to be said by the beingness, the one being. Is it all going to look pretty? No. We've always had yin and yang. We've always had up and down. We've always had what looks like good and bad in the drama. But we don't have to be the drama. We can act in the drama and still know that our beingness is one. You are love. I am love. And any idea that we are not is a mistaken idea. And we know that thoughts and feelings are not truth. They come and they go. So we don't need to pay that much attention. We don't need to idealize them and idolize them. If we didn't believe our thoughts and feelings, how much forgiveness would be necessary? I ask you in your life, just try this on. If you knew you were the one being, would you be content? Isn't it a relief to know that there isn't even a step of surrender? You are what God is. You are God's movement. It's God's dramatization, God's hands and feet in the world. You're the player. Now, you don't have to buy this. How is it going in your world where you think you're separate, you think you're not good enough, you did so many wrong things, you need to make amends for them, you need to be a different person, you need to fix yourself, you need to get stuff to make yourself better. At least you need to do more forgiveness. Definitely more praying to be a better person, to choose again. That's a lot of correction. You need to reach out to your brother. I do love that part of a course that really shows us when we think we're separate beings that we can only get there with each other. When you know you are each other, that step is not necessary. This is part of the fear and conflict section. And it says under fear and conflict, being afraid seems to be involuntary, something beyond your control. Yet I have said already that only constructive acts should be involuntary. My control can take over everything that does not matter, while my guidance can direct everything that does if you so choose. Fear cannot be controlled by me, but it can be self-controlled. Fear prevents me from giving you my control. The presence of fear shows that you have raised body thoughts to the, anyway, I can't read this anymore because it's been cut off on my copy. Well, I think it means you've raised fear to the point of idolization. And I know from my own life and from the benefits that I've received from living the non-dual way that fear increases when you focus on it. I'm not saying don't feel your feelings and skip over them. I'm saying feel the feeling, feel the fear. How long does it take to know you're afraid? Isn't it a moment of like not even 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second? It's almost instantaneous. Let's talk about where fear or anger or guilt has ever taken you when you've looped certain scenarios. Let's say your theme is one of your themes. You only have a couple, but let's say one of your themes is that people overlook you. People don't give you the recognition that you deserve. Well, how does that go? You have that loop. You have the thought, you see it again in a person, you get angry, you feel hurt, then you decide in your mind how you're going to retaliate or how you blah, 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 whatever it is. And then you come up with your course intervention of you're only talking to yourself and noticing an angry thought and then forgiveness and then choose again and make this brother or sister your teacher and your lover because they have now brought you back to love. But you know how it goes. It goes the same way every time, unless you don't do your ACIM work at the end. But the part about going through whatever it is you go through, and everybody has a different scenario. Some people do a dance with liquor and, oh, I really want that glass of wine or that beer, but I shouldn't have it. And it's bad for me and, blah, 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 blah. And then you either take it or you don't. And you eat higher than a kite if you didn't take it. But then if you did take it, then you're into the whole recrimination. Whichever way, it goes the same each and every time. So what I'm saying is you have that feeling. Let's say you believe you got disked or you want that glass of beer. The dance that comes through your mind is the same that you have it each time. It's not different and it has the same outcome. So you can just notice, oops, there's the wine dance, there's the beer dance, there's the dissing dance. I've been dissed again. You don't need to, you could even smile at yourself and do not touch it. Not this time, just try it. Now go to what is it that noticed that you did or didn't touch it. Let's go to that place. there's a space, there's a spaciousness. What is this spaciousness? What is the flow? What is this observer that knows what you just did, that observed? You either followed it or you didn't follow it, but that observer is not the thing you observed. It's not that story, because the story eventually left, maybe with recriminations, maybe with the high of what you did this time. But you're still in the story, whether you did it or you didn't do it, because you're still in the tug of war with whatever subject that is. But there's something that observes the tug of war. And that something can grow. And that something can be studied in the sense of your attention going to that place. Let's put our attention there now. Since it wasn't in a limited space, let's see it expand with the next breath. You are the observer. You are not the personal self that has all these thoughts and feelings, which are imagined. They come and they go. You are the one being. I know for many people that does not seem possible or real. But that's because it's been given no attention and no time. We've had X numbers of years thinking of ourselves as separate beings. What if we are just the one love? Love is existential love. Love is the universal love where everyone's included. It's not that feeling of a high, I love you while you're making me feel good, and I don't love you when you're making me feel badly. It's not something that's given and taken. It's the isness. Some people call it okayness. Some people call it peace. Others call it oneness. Can you feel the relief that might be available if this were true? We could just breathe. No more second guessing. No more surrendering. No more judgment. Freedom. Freedom. Going back to knowing that what I would do, where I would go, what I would say, and to whom is 100% the plan, 100% the one being, 100% you and I, just the oneness. Namaste. See you next time.